This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 618 for the week of Sunday, April 26th, 2020. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
My name is Steve.
And my name is Alex.
And on today's show, very special guest. He is the translator for One Piece in Shonen Jump and Manga Plus. His name's Stephen Paul. How's it going, Stephen?
Greetings. It is good to be here.
Good to have you here. We also have, he's an Eisner Award nominated artist for Merman. Amongst others, Joey Weiser, also host of Toho Yaro, is on here with us now. How's it going, Joey?
I'm doing fine. And yep, that's me.
And we have writer and stand-up comedian with us, Abby Denton returns. How's it going, Abby?
I'm a nobody. But thank you so much for having me on. I'll make it worth it.
So am I. That's why I don't have to say any other things in front of my name.
Bless you. Bless you.
Yeah, anytime. So, on today's episode of the podcast, we have a manga recap of chapter 978. The title is Introducing the Toby Roppo. We also have some piece together and trivia coming up a little later. Before we get started, though, I want to go through a bunch of news. First off, more on the podcast news front. If you go to patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast, we've been putting up great stuff every week, and we're going to try and be consistent with our Davy Jack fights every Wednesday at 9 p.m. And we're going to try and do those live on YouTube for all patrons, and then it's going to be posted for everyone $10 and up. Check those out. They are wild and insane and very profane. We hope you enjoy that. Did not mean for that to rhyme, but it just happened to. I also want to mention, and we mentioned this last week, the anime is on an indefinite hiatus due to the pandemic. So the anime recap will also be on an indefinite hiatus, which means we also had to put Sam Leach on an indefinite hiatus, but I'm sure he'll be back for some manga and other segments as well. But he will not be here this week. And I think the biggest release of the week was the One Piece Magazine Volume 9, and Japanese Twitter was abuzz about this. Steven, do you have any information? We're going to be talking about this, I think, in a few weeks or a month or so. But yeah.
I don't have a copy of it, unfortunately, just because of the way that I tend to order things from Amazon. I don't like to order just one book at a time. It costs a lot for shipping and handling. And so I'm probably not going to get one until middle of May or so. So unfortunately, this break for the next week would be a perfect time to go over it, but I won't have a copy of it. But it does sound really cool because I believe this is really getting in depth into Oda's kind of design philosophy, whether it's characters or like backgrounds and locations and cultures and all of the things that you see in One Piece. And to help do that, he also enlisted some friends to dedicate some artwork of their own favorite characters, artists such as Kohei Horikoshi of My Hero Academia and Posca de Mizu of Promised Neverland. Those are kind of the two big names, but I believe there are some others as well. So yeah, it seems like it's very much focused on it, like kind of like a clearinghouse of like, let's throw a bunch of old Oda's design documents, which they usually trickle out in these magazines, but it sounds like this one is focused much more on that, and so that sounds really exciting. I'm eager to see it when I do get it. And gosh, there was something else. The
Boichi from Dr. Stone.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, they announced that that Boichi will be drawing a manga adaptation of the Ace novel, which turns out, I guess it was a good decision in retrospect for us to have picked up those two novels to translate into English. And I believe the first one is probably out not too long from now. I'm not sure if that's been
I have
affected.
it pre-ordered. I think it's in a week or two.
Yeah. I guess it was probably too close for them to have pushed it back the way that some other publishers are doing. But I don't know much more than that. the two volumes of the Ace novels are both written by different people and kind of cover different. They stand separate from each other. So I don't know if the plan is just for the first volume or if Boichi's going to try to cover the material in both of them. I guess it kind of depends, but yeah, that's interesting news. I had not heard of that like before prior to this. So it wasn't like I had advanced knowledge that, oh, hey, we're going to be doing this thing with Viz's Shonen Jump or anything like that. So I'm not sure if there are concrete plans for what to do about that, but I'm sure it will make its way into English one way or another.
And the other big news is that One Piece is coming to Netflix on June the 12th. It's going to include the first two seasons, I guess, sagas.
Let's be clear. This is U.S. Netflix. It's been on other global Netflixes.
Well, it's going to be on U.S., Canada, New Zealand, and Australia, I believe, are the four countries. Yeah.
Up through Alabama.
Point of order, the plural is Netflixies.
I thought it was Netflix-I. I'm sorry. So yeah, those will be available on Netflix June 12th. And Netflix put up a little cool video about that, which I think they accidentally put earlier a while back. But yeah, it
was
that's
like
exciting.
Shortly around. I think it was like shortly after the live action news came out. So
yeah,
Netflix kind of jumped the gun.
Yeah, I mean, at least they jumped. They're super surprised that this is happening. Although I am super surprised. So season 10 Voyage 1 from Funimation's dub of One Piece is coming out soon on June 9th. And it was just announced that on July 7th, so that's a little less than a month later, season 10 Voyage 2 is supposed to come out. So this is the Punk Hazard arc. There was how many years break here between season 9 and 10? Several.
It's been since it was recently after I moved back to Illinois. So like 3 years.
I was going to say, can everyone here guess when Ed?
Have we?
All our listeners
been that
have
long since the last DVD came out?
I know it was longer than the season 3 to 4 gap.
Yeah,
I was going to say 2 years. I thought we were coming on 2 years, but
yeah.
I think it was at some point in 2017 because it was. I was
no, 2018. 2018.
It was 2018. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trusting Steve. This is his expertise. So yeah, I mean, Steve, what are your thoughts on both of these coming out soon? Since this is your kind of modus operandi here.
This sort of thing is my bag, baby. I'm excited. We've known for a while. I mean, I think since right around the time Stampede was coming out in theaters, they said, "Hey, we're back on the series again. We're dubbing it." And
well, they didn't say DVDs though. They said they were dubbing it, but we were pretty sure.
That's why I'm surprised they just said DVDs. I thought they were just gonna, and by the way, it seemed like they were dubbing it at an alarming speed. That they were gonna put a bunch of it on the streaming service, but it seems like we're just doing the usual of the DVD releases, and probably these 13 episodes will be on the streaming service like 2 weeks or a week before the release date.
The real value of the DVDs is any extras and or commentaries that appear on there, because they put everything else on the streaming service.
Or if you're like someone like me, and I think Ed as well, when you own every single one of them already, you just gotta commit and keep going.
That's true, but like the amount of DVDs in One Piece currently fills up one entire shelf, so I have to split it up, and it's gonna it's gonna piss me off like OCD style.
Well, I mean, can you get? I understand, but can you get like some of the bigger sets, and you could always sell the older ones, or
blasphemy?
Okay, so
I think the only people that'd be interested in buying the Voyages are like
collectors,
weird diehards like me.
Us.
Yeah. Because otherwise, why not just buy the collections when they range from anywhere from like $17 to $25?
Now, Steve, completionists need it. The thing is, I actually have extra copies of those Voyages, and I should probably. But who wants them?
Just give them away. Give them away.
No, give them away. I was gonna give them away at whatever convention we go to, but it might be a little bit from now. So we're gonna have to think of some more contests or something. I don't know.
You still have that box of Viz volumes in your parents' house, or did you move it to your house?
I moved some to my house. We don't have to talk about the box of One Piece volumes.
Give me like some of those
house.
like Gachapon wanted poster things, like the last time I saw you.
Yeah, I gave you. Why are we talking about this right now?
Hey, it's like, because what else are we gonna do?
Okay.
I actually only listen to the podcast to learn about your social interactions because I'm not able to go out and interact with my friends on my own. So it's good to sort of live vicariously.
Okay, at least we're serving a purpose.
Have you all ever gone out to eat together? If so, where and what did you have and what were you wearing and did you tip? What was it like?
Well, of course you tip.
Chicago Unos.
That's right.
Baltimore, Maryland.
That was great. Chicago Unos in Baltimore, Maryland. Anyway,
yes.
At Otakon, like 2010, is that the one we're referring to there?
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
Oh.
Does not matter. As we mentioned earlier, we don't have an anime recap this week, but we do have a manga recap for chapter 978. So why don't we get into that?
We could make up an anime recap.
That's a great idea. I'll just put in 30 seconds of silence.
Just recap the next chapter that they were going to adapt.
Oh, I'll just throw in. I'll throw in the manga recap.
The manga recap.
I'll cut out all the banter.
And just put in some plagiarized music.
I like the idea of assigning one poor person to cover the anime and then just force them to fill 30 minutes with nothing.
Yes. Oh, no. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll have Sam fill in a regular manga recap with extra nothing. Like he'll just talk about, and this is when Zach took some of his tea and he brought it slowly to his mouth to drink it and then set it back down onto his desk. I'm literally just describing what I'm doing right now. Okay.
You're in the...
Look, we're bored. We need content.
That sounds like the pacing of the anime.
Yeah. To be fair, yes.
Ouch.
I just tuned out for a few minutes. What is happening right now?
This is the manga recap for chapter 978, introducing the Toby Roppo. And you could read this chapter and all chapters as soon as they come out in Japan, legally and for free, either at mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp or at shonenjump.viz.com. Ed, what's going on the front?
No, Zach. First, you have to talk about author comments.
Go for it. What's going on in the author comments?
No, Oda just said, during these unfortunate times, Zoom and other online tools are suddenly a big thing. The world sure is changing. So, maybe Shueisha's modernizing the editorial process. I don't know.
This has been a topic of discussion. I know, Stephen, we've talked a lot about how Shonen Jump might be, modernizing. Hopefully, so maybe this is good that they're using Zoom more.
I feel like he must have mentioned this because they've been switching to, at least for his editors, to talking over Zoom or something like that.
Good.
Since they said that they were moving everyone back off to work from home capacity from the Shueisha office after the the first employee was suspected to be positive.
Yeah. Moving from the real world to the One Piece world, Ed, what's going on in the cover?
So we have the reunion. It's Gangbedge's Oh My Family. We're grateful. Thanks for saving our captain. So that's actually quoting the Risky Brothers there, who we see.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
We also...
Friend of the pod, the Risky Brothers.
Vito.
Still ugly.
Yeah. Vito the intern, I think he's getting married soon. Like, why else would he be waving like that?
I think he's just like, look who I found.
Maybe he's offering
hands
to be. He's offering to.
His hands are gigantic. He can't do anything but wave his hands.
He looks like he's trying. Looks like he's trying to do the Vulcan salute, but really failing at it. But
I thought Stephen was implying.
Yeah.
I thought Steven was implying his hand was so big he could like offer his hand to multiple people in marriage. You could call him like Mr. Polygamy.
It's like the white beard of marriage.
But it's a happy reunion. It's a nice scene.
Oh, my family.
Yeah.
All my family.
My
So,
family.
like, what would so if Vito? Never mind. Go ahead. Is that it? Ed?
Can I just say I've spent all
Abby.
week trying to wonder like what a Boruto style follow up would be like. Like, would Luffy be the dad? But I really hope there's a follow up about little baby Gangbege.
Agreed.
He's
Okay.
so
Yeah.
he's so cute.
It'll be called
Pez,
Pez
I know
Piece.
Next Generations.
Pez Piece,
Chronicles.
One Piece, Next Generations. That's the full title. Yeah.
Pez and Bej are pretty much making the same expression. It looks like that Keanu Reeves meme, where it's like the really short Keanu Reeves and the really tall Keanu Reeves, or just the normal Keanu Reeves.
I think this is one Keanu Reeves meme I'm not familiar with. Damn.
Little Keanu. Anyway, so we start with Law's yellow submarine splashing into the sea, diving into the sea, and so they're going to follow the plan and meet at the rear gate of the castle. So we get a brief scene of everyone in Law's submarine and all these giants, and I think that's Shachi there with the thing on his head. And he's just, like pointing out like a kid out the window. Steven, it was like the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
And this is the
Yeah.
ocean.
No,
Uh,
Did somebody,
I thought
did
it was
somebody
worse.
throw Law's submarine like down from a great height? Like, why is it like splashing down into the water?
Good question. I
That
don't
is
know.
a good question.
It's more
Mm.
sizzle to the steak, Steve.
That's
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
I didn't
Oh,
know.
incidentally,
I thought-
the wiki says the submarine is called the Polar Tang. Is that mentioned anywhere in the comic at all?
I don't
And maybe
think
in a
so.
data book.
Yeah,
a
I
data
don't
book
think-
or a
Fever
card.
card. Yeah.
Merchandise.
Okay.
Or merch.
Yeah.
My favorite
That's
drink.
one of- I
It's a cute name.
was about to say, I guess not one of Alex's favorite comedies, Polar Tank.
It's Pootie Tang. How dare you besmirch the name of one of the greatest comedies?
Just note on that middle panel, I thought Chachi was being a little facetious, or maybe Okiku was just a little bit curious because it looks like Chachi saying, "And this is what we call a window."
I don't know. Kawamatsu's pretty into it. Ashura Doji is nonplussed.
He loves
I
the
like-
water.
I imagine that Kawamatsu is he's like, wow, you can be underwater and be dry.
Yeah, Kawamatsu's love that water.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. So we get a brief scene of all three different kinds of straw hat pirates and carrots there too, and the gangsters of Wano, and so they're saying, "Steal yourselves." There's no saying where they will strike back. Shape Denjiro, and he replies, "If I hadn't, there would be no meaning to living the last 20 years." So sorry for the long wait. Let's end it now. And so Luffy and Kid are entering Onigashima. They're leading the charge, as from last chapter, and they're actually surprised by something. But Kid is enjoying it. Luffy is surprised.
Yeah,
Oh.
because they see this incredible sight. Whoa, this is Onigashima. And man, this place looks so good. You get the big skull that we've all seen in silhouette, but we get to see that it's also got all sorts of like statues, the like Kitsune statues and the Oni like fountains, and this very interestingly suspicious giant sword with
Thank
a little
you.
cell phone
Yeah.
charm hanging off of it. And like as
Are
if
those
this wasn't
shisas, the fountains? Is that what those are called?
oh maybe yeah they do kind of look like the Shisa
I think it's more of like an Oni mask,
Okay.
kind of a thing. Yeah, with the tusks like that.
yeah
Oh yeah.
and just to give it scale, you can see the ships down there, so you can actually see that it is even huger than you might imagine, which is pretty incredible. And snow on the treetops and stuff, it's a really great well, on some of the treetops, some of them look fresh, like there's some kind of like sakura looking trees as well. But so the minks remark that it's huge, and the samurai of Wano say, I've never seen it before. And we get Chopper and Nami looking shocked. That's a great Chopper face. Oh, and Brooks there in the background. We're in Kaido's lair, and we see what I assume is through the eyeballs of the skull. People partying upstairs. And Kinemon
I do want to note, the only reason I even saw that the two front ships are Luffy's and Kid's is because Kid's ship on the right has the skull, which looks really cool in the previous one too.
You can see on my page as well. Yeah.
Sea King skull. Yeah.
It's crazy that like the Sunny ends up being one of the smaller ships. Out there.
Well, they're still one of the smaller crews. So
yeah.
They don't need that huge a ship.
So Kinemon finishes off the page by saying, "It seems they haven't given a single thought to the possibility of an enemy attack. That means Kanjuro hasn't reported it in yet. Our sneak attack is still possible."
I enjoy the onomatopoeia stomp tromp on that page.
Stomp Tromp is a consistent one. Yeah, that's a good go-to.
I've not noticed it before. It's great.
Yeah.
It's the people trying to sleep downstairs are really
It's the sound of merriment.
Well, there's musical notes in the onomatopoeia, in the sound effect.
Yeah. This is such a cool spread. I mean, I think what's been said has been said, but I just want to add, it's a cool spread.
I even like to, you can see the tiny kind of little dots of the lights under the mouth of the skull as you go up into shadow. It's like you can kind of see how it continues on.
Lanterns.
We did for
a thing that's
go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, just the thing that's really great about it is everything's at a kind of diagonal, like everything's kind of shoved over to the side, which makes it look really chaotic, and kind of like a mess in some ways.
There's so much depth in this illustration. Like I love it.
Yeah, I think I said before we started, it's like you threw all the Japanese items in Animal Crossing in one space. This
is a 5-star island if I've ever seen one.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, here come the other villagers to move in.
I do like how the stairs going up into the skull kind of looks like the queue for a dark ride at Disney.
That might not be an accident.
All the gates, the Torii gates.
I just want to suggest this for the cover image that we could have Kaido as Tom Nook and Big Mom as Isabel. I'm just saying we could have that.
Honestly,
I think Ed is just commissioning Maddie on air.
Onigashima New Horizons.
Just suggest.
Honestly, like Alex just said, the Disney ride ambiance, and this does like the evening ambiance. This definitely reminds me of leaving Pirates of the Caribbean, where there's people on the at their tables, like having a nice meal as you're going past them, and it's all dark and everything. It's with the lights, and it's beautiful.
Either that or the Mexican ride from Epcot. Or Three Caballeros.
I'm sorry. I'm still thinking. Steve, go.
It's just the raid on Onigashima attraction, narrated by Jeremy Irons.
I'm sorry. I'm still stuck on imagining Kaido as Tom Nook, and I just assume his policy on interest is very different.
I can just assume him asking you a question like, "Oh, hey, today's the Fire Festival. Would you like to hold a celebration?"
What do those flags say? There's some banners.
I tried to look this up, and I tried to tell if they were One Piece in jokes because they've mentioned that, and I'm not actually sure that they are. You can see all of them they end with the same kanji, which is Myo, which is a wisdom king, which is a type of deity in Buddhism. And there was Fudo Myo was a big character in the series that I had formerly been working on, Samurai 8. They're familiar names, but I'm not sure if the kanji. I didn't actually bother to look it up because I was like, okay, I tried to puzzle through it and I didn't recognize any like One Piece sounding readings. So I think it might just be like actual decoration.
Yeah. Okay.
I was gonna guess it was a Burma Shave quatrain.
Is that a Gundam reference?
No. Burma Shave was an early advertising campaign where they'd put like individual lines of quatrains by the side of the highway in like the 50s. It was.
Okay.
I've spent too much time in advertising. Save.
But it does sound like a Gundam name.
100%.
Tell me no name.
100%.
I apologize.
I forgot who runs that account. Oh, isn't it? Is it David Bednar?
David,
Whatever it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Right. Hopefully he writes that in. So I hope we contributed to that. Abby, it's your turn. Yeah.
Page 6, our boy Sanji says Kaido's castle is all the way in the back, right? And there's a little he speaks out loud a map of the island with a mark for where they're trying to go in from. And I don't know how he does it. I think it's a devil fruit that he's picked up between chapters. And Frankie, who's in the background far too often for how absurd he looks, yells, "It's farther than I expected." And Zoro says, "If they don't know we're here, then speed is of the essence." And then Usopp, he's looking through his binoculars, which you wouldn't think he needs because he has terribly good eyesight. And he yells, "Guards!" with like a Krillin. He sounds just like Krillin. It's interesting. I think he's just a big fan of Krillin. Oh,
he's not looking through his binoculars.
Oh.
Isn't that
This
interesting?
implies? This is lore.
Yeah, no, it is. He was looking through his binoculars, and then he's not. He's looking to the side.
Oh, maybe it's like some pirates have like an eye patch so they can go below decks and switch quickly. Maybe he looks through binoculars with one eye and keeps the other one like out of focus.
Is that supposed to be observation hockey? Is that what you're implying there,
That's
Steven?
what I am
Okay.
implying, yes.
I was just making sure. Go
Nice.
ahead, Abby.
Didn't pick up on that the first time.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that either. That's good.
That's cool. And then a guy who I assume will never be named, but he's fun to look at, is drunk and he's surprised because he thinks he sees ships. But
Captain
no one.
Irpy of the Belch pirates.
I love his first mate and everyone in this little trio. I hope they have a whole spinoff, which they probably will one day. But then Usopp does something useful, as he always does, and knocks them out with the Sleepgrass Green Star, which as
indica, right?
It's the body high, yeah.
And he knocks them all out, and they're so cute. And he says, "Looks like they're asleep. No problem. Ha ha." And he laughs boisterously. And then, those bubbles are from Jinbei, I think. New Straw Hat helmsman, Jinbei T. Pirate, says, I think I get the gist of the operation. But if we moor this many ships in the open, it will be absolutely certain to alert the enemy of the coming battle. Off the ships at once." And everyone disembarks and they start sinking the ships immediately. And Luffy's shocked and he goes, "What happened to your ships, guys?" And Kinemon looks really cool and he says, "We sink them before we go. On this mission, we need no return ships."
I don't know where that very
It's
awesome
so
music
cool.
cue that I heard in my head came from, but great. Go ahead.
I think the cool thing too about Usopp's page is that like it's sort of like a double take from both sides. When you see at the bottom, you hear them going, "Huh? I thought I saw people over there," and Usopp's like, "No, I guess it wasn't anybody. They're no nothing to worry about."
That feels very out of character for old Usopp. Is this a new development?
I think
true.
it's like it's
trying to be
the
cool.
increasingly erratic, like bouncing between cool, like competent Usopp and Frady Cat Usopp.
He can take out some guards, no problem.
Yeah,
He's picking on Small Fry.
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
at
but he'd
least
boast
he's
about
showing
it.
off by doing it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, think of it. Like snipers and sharpshooters should be afraid when really big, strong people come right next to them. But when from far away, that's their zone. That's their shit. They could deal with that. It
seems like
makes
something
sense.
he would yell about, like, "Oh, look at this amazing thing I did! I, the great Captain Usopp." But maybe just because he's surrounded by his crew, he doesn't need to show off anymore. Heartwarming.
I think he's grown up over these 20 years of manga.
I feel like even Dressrosa, he would have probably. I'm
Maybe.
proud of him. I'm proud
Yeah.
of our boy.
I am too. That was a cool moment. Understated coolness there. Steve.
But it's immediately undone by Usopp
Damn
and
it.
Chopper having, a hypothetical question. But what if we want to run away? And like Usopp has the chattering of his teeth on his fingers, like, "We don't need to do that to the Sunny, do we?" And Frank is like, "Over my dead body." And
What's his loincloth say?
Thank you, Ed, for asking that.
Oh, it just says iron.
Of course it does.
Excellent.
Excellent loincloth. I want one. Go ahead.
And the living beanbag chair Jimbei says, "We can hide a few ships. Just disembark and don't worry." So we could keep the main character ships.
Is Jimbei gonna just become the living beanbag? Is that his like real role on the crew? Everyone just sits. It's like, oh, this is a comfortable chair.
Who would not want to just sit and relax comfortably in the warmth of big beanbag Jimbei?
Big beanbag.
He's like the grandpa who brings his own little folding chair around everywhere. Just sets it up and plops down.
It is nice to see him behind that wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least someone's behind the wheel. Yeah.
Jimbei, take the wheel.
Let me ask you guys a question. If anybody knows of this, but is the practice of destroying your own ships, is that something that has historical Japanese significance?
Not heard that.
I do not know.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of. It sounds very like,
sacrificial.
Yeah, and that's sort of, the mentality that Japanese soldiers had, where it was like, I don't have to come back as long as I do what I come here to do,
Cool.
Well, I think it came from sailors who would travel across difficult seas that would cast many ships asunder. They would sink their ships in the hopes that eventually, even if they failed in their missions, eventually they'd create a massive dam across the sea of just millions of boats, and they could just walk there, and it's fine.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. Either way, it gave Kinemon a very cool line, for sure.
It's so cool.
Either that or the inspiration came from someone saying, "Hey, are you going to eat the leftovers? Otherwise, I'm just going to throw them out." So with the blub, the ships sink to the bottom of this. And Brooke says, I suppose this speaks to how serious these samurai are. And as they cross the Zen Bridge, which costs about 198,000 bells,
oh my God,
don't get spotted. It's like, then Brooke, I think Brooke is still observing, says, every last one is utterly resolute. They will win or die. Nothing less will suffice when challenging the emperors of the sea. As more ships continue to blub, as these soldiers, these samurai, they cross the bridge, and Chopper notices something strange. Sanji does as well. And what happened? All of a sudden, the shore is swarmed with bad guys. But Robin is observant as she says, "No, it's not them. Look at the foot of the bridge." As we get a lot of really great Chopper drawings. I'll have to talk about at the end of this manga recap.
That one's really good.
But with a swish, a samurai runs through a Stargate, and he comes out dressed like
is that a member of the Animal Kingdom Pirates. Oh my God!
I think it's a Mario reference, isn't it?
Pop. Go through the mountain. Go through the painting of like the Onigashima skull. You fight Queen, who's just a big giant bomb. Anywho, the kid pirates have already like walked through this, and Kid's like, what's the meaning of this? And Killer says, it's their uniform. I don't understand why Kid would be upset about this. They dress exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's like if someone just put a new hat on him, and it's like, who put this hat on me? Oh, it's pretty nice, but still, I don't.
Yeah, he has very particular tastes.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
To the layman, it looks like the same type of thing, but he knows.
Yeah,
I'm all for the extra belts and black leather, but the horns are just too much.
His henchman in the back, all the way to the left, I think he had 3 horns, and now he has 5, and that's the only difference.
It looks like he just has like a long one just stabbed through his head. It's either that or it's a speed line, but I don't think so.
It could be one of those hats, with the arrow through the head.
Yeah, the Halloween arrow.
Yeah, the bad comedian thing. What's next here, Alex?
While we're at
sorry, Abby.
I was looking up Japanese naval strategy and stuff.
Good.
And I can't find anything about sinking your own ships, although like ship to ship, I don't know to what extent Navy would cover that. But apparently a lot of early Japanese ship building ships were sort of weaker on average than medieval ships, so they couldn't really handle cannons. So instead, the usual form of naval warfare would be to board your enemy's ship and just try to sink it by hand.
Wow. That's
So, like,
interesting, but unrelated.
That feels like a very One Piece way to fight.
Yeah. It's almost like a Davy back way of fighting. Alex, anyway, go ahead, take the page.
Okay. So Kimon chimes in and he says, "It is one of the greatest applications of my garb power. I call it Kin's Clothing Company." No relation to the Abel sisters. Kid still looks pretty pissed about this. He says, "You are mighty pirates, I can tell. Attack this island however you see fit. But the enemy is myriad. They have over 5 times our number. I would recommend making use of that transformation." And the Straw Hats, walk through the gate and transform into Kaido's minions as well. Nami's outfit is looking as not as skimpy as some of the other female Kaido members, but skimpy enough for Sanji to notice.
Yeah, Nami's finally cosplaying Slayers.
Sanji's got one horn.
Yeah,
I
Nami
love
and
Chopper's face in this so much.
Yeah, Chopper's got another great face. This is I love that him and Brooke have like a single horn atop their head.
Well, so does Sanji, I think.
Yeah.
We can't tell.
No, I think
that's his hair. No,
Oh,
that's
his hair? Really?
Yeah,
But he's still off the side of the panel. You can't tell.
I guess
He's
Sanji
always horny.
I didn't
I was going
drawing
to say-
exactly about this.
Oh yeah.
Aw.
How
Thank you,
Sanji's
Maddie.
hornier than normal.
Yeah.
But Zoro's horny as well, and so is Luffy. Everybody's horny.
I'm surprised. No, we don't have Usopp in this panel because because since he sounds like Krillin, he probably would be saying, "Whoa, Mondo, cool."
This is nuts. I do find it interesting that depictions of Oni, we have dual horns and single horns, which I think that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Not something I noticed before.
And curved horns and straight horns too. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
I kind of like it a lot. And as we get some more views of the beautiful Onigashima, Kinemon continues. Beware that it is only my jutsu creating the effect. If that garb should be removed or damaged, you'll return to your original clothes, my comrades. So avoid any unnecessary conflict as we make our way to the place of ultimate battle. So we'll be seeing our friends back in samurai gear soon enough, I can imagine. So then we hear a rah, and here are all of the samurai who are taking up arms. May luck shine upon us. And is that Denjiro on the far left?
I don't know. I don't think so. I like to think that they're going, yeah, we're all leather daddies now.
And I like
There's
that
a new
these
daddy
are
in
those.
town.
These are some of those like guys he's been repeating since maybe since they were imprisoned. I recognize some of
That's
these
the
guys.
He-Man
Yeah.
looking guy.
Yeah, the He-Man looking one.
The guy to the left of He-Man, I think he was the one who was named Jibuemon. He was like, that was like all the way at the start of the arc.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And then
He seems like he's at least like a caricature of someone in particular, but I can't tell who.
yeah.
Mm.
He's a
You're
more
right.
realistic-
He does. Yeah.
Just a little bit more detailed than everyone else.
He looks like Dr. Zaius.
He does.
Well, as the discipline daddies are gearing up for their assault, we zoom inward on the mouth of the skull as stomping and tromping commences, and we hear over the loudspeaker, "It's the Golden Festival that only comes once a year." And the crowd shouts, "Queen, Queen, Queen!" And we've got a dragon and the eight-headed,
Orochi type.
eight-headed,
Yeah.
the Orochi type dragon. Joey, help me out here.
Can we get a solid snake voice for
The
Captain Wade?
Yamada no Orochi, is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Queen,
Yeah, I love that they have the like parade dragon there.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It's really neat.
Pretty cool. Yeah. And we see Scratchman, Apu mixing some fat beats.
Mhm.
Him and
Best
Queen seem to
cameo
be
ever.
Yeah. Him and Queen seem to be a match made in heaven.
He's
Yeah.
probably not Kaido's son. It's like
Probably not.
probably not.
It's so disappointing
know.
though, because like it would be such a perfect combination, like that you have the divorced biker dad Kaido and his adult DJ son. Like it's perfect.
Oh my
That's true.
God,
That is
you're
the best
right.
way to like plant yourself as a DJ, is to get your dad to run the place. And
There's
Also, we did not
there's-
hear the end of the conversation from the last chapter where it's like, "Where's my son? We need music.
Yeah.
We need a funky beat."
It's worth it to bring up. There's a great Birthday Boy sketch about a father who has 8 DJ sons. 8 sons for all DJs. Look it up. It's great. But yeah, the music oomphs, and we've got some folks playing on their help me out here.
Jazz
Yeah.
flutes.
They're
yeah.
bamboo
I was gonna
jazz
say
flutes. Yeah.
Couldn't you tell by the sound?
Fife?
Oh,
Yeah.
Tweedledee.
Jazz
that a
flute
fight?
for little sissy girls.
Tweedle is the official sound of a jazz flute solo. Just in case you didn't know.
Right. So they're playing
Got it.
Aqualung.
Is that the name of one of the warlords?
Aqualung? It should be.
The
Tweedle?
Oh,
I thought
think
it was
you're
one of the
right, yeah.
Zappas.
Tweedle. Tweedle Zappa, yeah. Kept you waiting. Eek! All the female members of Kaido's crew are also impressed by Queen. And he says, if I get any thinner, I'll steal all your hearts. So I choose the way I am. I stay. Swish, 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 swish. Queen shows up, by the way, and we go to the next page.
Funky. That's what he says. So you see Queen atop his funky throne, all the way. Sorry, all the way up there. While you see most of the Animal Kingdom pirates in the old Japanese version of the Gaylord Hotel that hosts Katsucon and MagFest outside of Washington D.C. Because it looks like it's like this indoor atrium looking thing, but also with trees, and that's what it looks like.
Queen's
Anyway,
like, I paid a little extra money for a room with a balcony this year. MagFest is gonna rule.
Atrium room.
So that went to a very specific segment of our audience. Anyway, yeah. So this is a really cool looking shot here at everyone, and so let me hear it. Okay, Onigashima, let me hear it if you're all feeling it. And so we get an introduction. I could do this, guys. I've hosted a podcast for 11 years. If I can't do it,
No, it's not about hosting. It's about you have no rhythm.
oh
Yeah.
God, you're
Zach,
right.
we need you at the funky kind of
You need to be
level
fun.
here.
You need to be funkier. Yeah.
Funky.
You're at like mitzvah level of energy. We need you.
I got some cocktail franks and Shirley Temples.
What's the theme?
The theme is bar mitzvah theme.
Oh,
Oh, man. Come on, Zach. You can do better than that.
That's the best party he can possibly imagine.
As a Jew, there is nothing better than a bar mitzvah. And that is the opposite of the truth. Anyway, we get an introduction to the waiters, those awaiting the smile fruit, and they're all like, woo, woo, woo.
The guy in the back. This guy-
Yeah. does not
I
look
find my
happy.
head uncontrollably bopping along to the rhythm of what you're saying. You're doing a great job.
We got the pleasures, and those are the ones who lost the bet and are forced to laugh. And they seem to be having a
yeah,
good
we got
time.
him.
They're all
The
crying
Joker
inside.
gang is here.
Yeah. And we got the gifters, those who have been blessed, quote unquote, with powers. One of them is a
Blessed,
giraffe
yeah.
man Blessed is a very liberal use of that word there. So we got Wolfman, who has his dukes up and ready to go. I assume he has a human head somewhere as well. Giraffe
Oh wait,
Man, who's
it
just
looks like his arms are coming out of his neck, and he has like normal arms too.
Yeah.
He's got two sets of arms. He has
Yeah.
two sets of arms.
Oh, you're right. Oh, Jesus.
His face is wolf. His beard is arms.
Oh boy.
have to write
Does
this
he
down.
shave?
Oh wow.
His face is wolf. His beard is arm.
But he's not the best one of this group.
No.
Oh, this is an amazing panel. We're not even close.
No. Okay, so let's go in order. We got Giraffe Man. I assume that's his name because that's how the naming conventions go with the gifters. So Wolfman, Giraffe Man is just a guy whose torso is a giraffe neck. We got Ape Man.
I assume he's just a giraffe body.
What?
His
Excuse
head
me?
is just a bust.
Well, no, he's arms up
it's
there too.
Yeah.
like it's like an entire giraffe body, and just his like
Yes.
his
I
body.
agree.
It could be
giraffe,
like
his
centaur
face is
limbs.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you say his face is face?
yeah.
Okay. Just
But we
making
got to
sure there,
talk about
Steve.
this member of the Exo Squad right here,
Ape Man.
Ape Woman.
Joey, take to Ape Woman. Sorry,
Yeah.
Joey, take it away. Describe
It's
this for me.
incredible.
Describe
This
the
woman
indescribable.
with her arms stuck inside of a gorilla with headphones.
Yeah,
you guys
This
seen,
was a
crazy
woman who ate an ape
exoskeleton.
fruit or an ape that ate a woman fruit.
No, so
Yeah.
these are all Smile users, so they're all
Right.
probably people.
Yeah.
But they all went a little wrong because they're
She was unfortunate. She got the Quato fruit.
Well, yeah, but which one do you think came first? Because they could have experimented on an ape, said, let's see what'll happen.
I think the
Here,
woman came
Like
first,
the
personally.
mast of the front of a ship or something. She just like, planted on top of that.
It
I actually-
either looks like a gorilla absorbed a woman, or this looks like some sort of gorilla mech suit. Like she looks like she's about to fight like an alien queen.
Yeah, that's what I was
Well,
thinking.
she looks like that guy with the lion coming out of his groin, but like
Look,
she's the lion. So
Yeah,
that's
right.
why I think it was the other way around.
you might be right. You might be
She's
right.
always kicking him in the balls.
No, what I'm thinking is, do her arms exist like inside of his chest, like or his belly? Is she just like grabbing his organs all the time? This is what's going through my brain.
She's like a really
No.
gross ratatouille.
Yeah. And then of
So
course
the-
we have Rhino Man, although I also see a lobster claw there. So this is all
I
very
call him-
confusing.
I call him Reinar Nuki.
Anything else in that
He's
panel
his
you
cousin.
guys want to?
Oh, there's plenty more.
Technical things that I love about this page are the dry brush on the funky word balloon. So it makes it look really
Oh,
cool.
wow,
and
yeah.
Sketchy.
Yeah, it
And
looks
I
great.
also love the font choice of this like college sweater font for the waiters, pleasures, and gifters. Just kind of made me
I think
laugh.
that's the usual one,
Mhm.
right? That they've
No,
been using.
no.
He's been
It looks
using
different.
that.
It looks like the logo from the TV show Coach.
Anyway, Alex, you wanna finish off or continue the lineup actually?
Sure. Next, the headliners, aka the chosen gifters, and then basically the gifters whose powers aren't stupid. Well, too stupid. And we have here another gorilla woman, except her cape is gorilla.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's actually pretty cool.
yeah. And then we have this guy in the back here. Looks like he's got. I can't really tell, but
He's a Viking man. He
Yes,
ate
a Viking
the Viking
man.
fruit.
that's right. He's a Viking
So
man.
we all know
then-
Vikings all used to be are all
Yeah.
animals. A lot of them.
And then this guy looks like he's a stag man, like a stag beetle guy. And then Queen calls out for the Toby Ropo, and then there's nothing but silence. Just kidding.
That's
They've
a
never
great
chimed-
face there. That's a great
Yeah.
face on
Mhm.
Queen.
Queen is quickly becoming
suck.
my favorite.
He says, "Just kidding. They've never chimed in on one of these anyway." Yeah, everybody loves this joke. They're so they've been through this song and dance before, and he continues to do his thing. Ignore those arrogant punks. Forget them. Where my monster's at? Numbers. And we, of course, we're deprived of seeing the numbers yet again, but we hear them with a ha-cha-cha-cha and a go-kiki, go-kiki, and a kunyu-yu-yu. And he goes, man, you're all over the place.
Ooga chaka. Ooga.
That's it, baby.
So he says, now let's go to Orochi's forces.
Sorry to interrupt, but Steven, I think someone pointed out on Twitter that are those derived from Japanese numbers, the laughs?
Yeah, well, there could be some because they all start like hachi and go and ku. Those are all the start of number. I'm trying to remember what was the one that the guy was doing last.
I think someone brought it up, and I think it was too.
It seems very likely.
I'll pull it up, but yeah,
interesting. Mm-hmm. Well,
go ahead.
Those are the numbers for you.
Yeah,
and then this is, by the way, I have to say this is probably one of Oda's better ways of using exposition.
Absolutely, best. I'd say his best.
An MC doing it. Yeah, this is superb. He says, now let's go to Orochi's forces. First up, the elite samurai, Mimawari Gumi. Rah! Of course, we don't see them. And the ninja, Oniwa Banshu. Woo! And we've seen them before, of course. And
Queen in the background and that panel at the top there. He's just sort of a beach ball.
Yep.
And now the starting lineup of Orochi's forces.
It seems kind of weird that the ninjas would be out and about at the party, but you know.
By the way, Steven, it was Ju-ki-ki-ki.
Okay, yeah, so that could be 10. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think he's announcing the ninjas just because he's not sure if they're there or not, just in case.
I assume they're up there somewhere.
Yeah, you always know Milford Man. You hear them all. You go, and Queen even gives some shout outs to some other folks. And I hear we got some special guests in the house tonight. Big Mom's children. And we from Orochi's private box. Yeah, from Orochi's private box.
I think he's just huge. Yeah.
Unfortunately, a reaction was cut from this chapter. It's back when Orochi heard this and he said, "I thought you said we're having a special ghost tonight."
Oh my god.
No, they're having a special guest tonight, Mr. Tim Conway.
What if he just? Okay, sorry.
I was waiting for somebody to follow that up. So then we hear what? Stupid Queen. He's ever so obnoxious. Says AB masked individual. He just called the Toby Ropo arrogant punks. Why the nerve of that beastly man? And another shadowy figure we may have already seen before says, "Is this another one of your weird trends? Stop talking like that. It's embarrassing."
This guy looks like Sherlock Holmes here. I know that's not what he ends up looking like, but in this silhouette, he 100% looks like Sherlock Holmes.
So she says to him, Pei, sweetie, you don't have to be ashamed. He says, don't call me that. And then this horned individual says, I'm just spitballing, but if Queen were to die, say, tonight, would be the next lead performer, you think? And a different figure says, I'm guessing you think it's yourself. And Drake says, I have no interest. And another individual whose face is covered up by word balloons says, if you're dropping out as a candidate, that'd be great. Pei can't hack it either. You're dropping out too, right? To which Drake replies, what? And
no, that would be the aforementioned Pei.
Oh, Pei says, right, yes, thank you. And who is Pei exactly?
Who is Pei? Well, before we get to Pei, I'll just point out, since they're kind of talking about it in this middle panel, that what this lady with the face mask is doing in Japanese is she is talking in Oiran style language. Yes, there's like an actual dialect that is literally just like, this is what the fancy ladies in Kyoto who dress up and entertain that they speak in, and so that's why he's like, "What are you doing? Why are you talking like that?" Of course, it already didn't. It doesn't really exist in English, of course, and I can't. I don't think I had like anything really specific that I did with Komurasaki. She just kind of talked in a very formal and fancy manner, and so how do you do that in like 2 dialogue panels? You just make her sound like she's a lady from a classic movie with a transatlantic accent, and acting all fancy. But we turn the page.
Yeah, I remember she was complaining about the sound effect Dawn earlier. She was saying, "Oh, it's Ow and Dawn that keep her in her place, not her wretched clothes and dirty face. Why can't the English teach their children how to speak?" Oh, never mind.
What were we referencing?
In My Fair Lady, he complains about the word "gone," which sounds a lot like the One Piece sound effect "dawn." It wasn't. It was. Right. It was pitchy at best. I apologize.
No. It's perfectly fine.
We're here to pitch.
Equally baffling is the list of names on this page here.
Wait. So if who's on first, then who's page 1?
It's Pepe.
Yeah, this page is a real who's who.
Yeah, it's a baseball joke.
Pepe.
You see? Okay, go ahead, Stephen.
We have the ultimate list of the headliners from the Animal Kingdom Pirates here. It is the Toby Roppo revealed as a group at last. And yes, they are all named after card
Sorry
games.
to interrupt this very important page. Why haven't we called them the Animal Crossing Pirates yet? Okay, let's continue.
They all have names after card games. As far as I can tell, I don't remember if I actually found anything for Sasaki. Could just be a reference to Sasaki,
the former editor-in-chief of Shonen Jump. Every comic has to put him in there.
They were friendly.
Yeah, actually. It's,
and I mean,
Sasaki
look, I met
is
him.
Uno in Japanese.
Sasaki. I said it first. Go ahead, Stephen.
Yes. So we see that the previously shown young lady is named Ulti. She of the fancy striped hair, and she's got the kind of the cute little bow on her dress.
I think it's only fair we go through what each of these games are. If you have it, I can look them up.
A doily on her face.
Ulti is a Hungarian card game, apparently.
Yeah, I looked this up just now.
I would assume that it is a derivation of Ultimate, but I have honestly no idea. I just needed to find the spelling so that I could put it in the file.
Perfect.
And she says, "Hey, Sasaki, if you insult my Pepe one more time, I'll break you in two." So her little trend did not last very long.
What the hell is a Pepe?
It's her nickname for page 1.
Page 1.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. Oh, that's
according to William, it's like a.
I thought you were building anticipation this whole time of the reveal of page 1. I didn't realize you didn't know.
He's such a dweeb.
And yes, here we get our first glimpse at a non-scaly version of page 1, but he is still he's got the mop of hair, the Nakamura hair, but we don't see much else of his features
because he's practicing good hygiene here.
Yeah, he's got good hygiene and he's got good headwear. If he wants to ride a bike, he can do that.
He looks like a big black and white cookie.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
And I will say this about page 1. He may not like you calling him Pepe, but he'll always be your PayPal.
No.
Oh my god. Isn't so? Wait, is Pepe Ulti's Bebe? There we go.
I hate this.
Yeah.
And like this banter, page 1 hates what is going on with Ulti. And he says, "Stop it, sis," which is I think they might actually be related. I think this might be one of the, cases where it's not just him saying like in a sort of informal, like in group manner, because he does call her Aneki instead of like Anego or one of those other words that's like more specifically like Yakuza style. But at any rate, these two are clearly they kind of go together. They have a rivalry going on here, and he's like, "Stop it!" And she's like, "Did you just order me to stop?" And the guy with the horned helmet that covers his face, we see, is named Who's Who.
Space Ghost,
and
older brother.
Yeah. He's got, judging by his posture in the big panel at the bottom, he seems to be the Diamante of the group.
Oh God!
He's got the man spread going on, and although I don't know if you can read it well enough, but if you do zoom in, you can see that his tattoo on his chest does say "Who's Who" on it.
Yeah,
and also
everyone has tattoos of their names.
He's not named after the game
Also,
Guess Who, then.
No.
No.
He tattooed a Sheikah stone on his chest so he could get hints while playing Ocarina of Time. Thank you.
Just smack himself though.
What's
God,
the
this is
card
like
game?
we have had the worst humor on this episode. This is down bottom
Play
level
another
shit.
Nintendo game other than Animal Crossing, Zach. Come on.
No, I'm playing Untitled Goose Game. Isn't that enough for you, Steve?
A good one.
Steven, what's the deal with the Who's Who card game?
I don't know. It's just you tell me.
Okay,
I'm the one. I got to read this page.
Okay, sorry.
No,
sorry.
you do not.
No more interruptions.
Let him finish.
So the next one is probably the biggest surprise of the group because we knew that there was at least one member who was effeminate based on her feet in the previous chapter, which we now know is Ulti. But we see here that Black Maria is not only extremely effeminate, but appears to be huge, gigantic. Like if this panel is any indication, she is standing behind, like leaning over the set of benches that they're sitting on.
Yeah. She's definitely a large human, not like an Elbaf style giant, but
You don't think so?
Also,
no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
also slightly different designs on these two. At least they a little bit different from the Type
They
A
both
and
have-
Type B Oda female designs.
Yeah, they both have. I mean, technically, pretty much everybody here has the dot pupil look, which on Oda's women is definitely like kind of makes them look a little crazy and bug-eyed, so they look more evil. And Black Maria, obviously, just her expressions. She looks like a wicked lady, and she is sticking her tongue out, and she's like, "Ooh, I love Uli when she'll snap at anyone." And she's she's got her fancy what do they call it? The Japanese term is kiselu, which is probably based on some European word, but it's her fancy pipe.
Black Maria is a British card game that was based on Hearts, apparently, for those interested.
Yeah, she's got some cool like headdress stuff, including swords. So yeah, she looks awesome. I think that might be my favorite of these designs. And then there is, of course, Diaz Drake, and he's wondering, why did they call us here just to make us wait? And the last, the aforementioned Sasaki here, who definitely looks more Oni-ish than the rest of them because he's got the big fangs. And he's got some cool like shoulder tattoos along with his cloak that he's got around his shoulders, and with a flame design like motif on his both his pants and his cloak. And he's the one who was wearing the Geta sandals. And he says, they said it's urgent. And when Kaido says urgent, it usually means one thing. And then at last we see the full group of them at the bottom, and Ulti says, "Oh, is this another family thing then? God, is Kaido stupid or something?" And they all they all react with alarm. You can see the little shock mark next to all of their heads as they turn as one and say, "Snap at anything but that." So it seems like they enjoy her bracing personality as long as it doesn't involve getting them in trouble with the boss.
And the One Piece manga returns May 10th. Yeah, so it's Golden Week next week, so no one has to worry there.
I mean, Oda, did he put that reference in there? Cause like it's the Golden Festival. Like, is that because it's Golden Week? Does he just put that in there?
No.
Okay.
Well, he mentioned Apu has said he said Golden Festival when he showed up.
Yeah.
Back before, I'm trying to remember. I think that might have been the last chapter when Abby was on.
I was going to say
it
that.
Was it was talking about all of the ports of Wano and how it showed him coming back with that weird like pulley thing.
It's such a weird shape for a country. It doesn't make sense.
Let's try not to think about it too much.
It's wonderful.
Before
Joey.
we get into it,
Alex.
I have some information on card games.
Yay.
While Stephen was talking, I Googled. Who's Who is indeed a card game. The Sasaki thing, though, is interesting. There is an individual by the name of Jun Sasaki who has created a bunch of board games / card games over the past 10 years. So more of contemporary, more contemporary card games. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. He apparently is the designer of the 2011 release from Moonster Games, Hatari. Atari, I guess. So.
Yeah. So he's made the Atari card game. So Joey, thoughts on this chapter?
Yeah, this is a really jam-packed chapter. I feel like it doesn't have a lot in the way of story movement, but it has a lot of content regardless. I guess starting with the Tobi Roppo, I like their designs a lot, most of them. Yeah, I'm probably most excited about Black Maria and Sasaki. Sasaki kind of gives me a Fishman vibe a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I love his tattoos. They feel very Yakuza. And a thing that I think is interesting about the flame design on his cape and I guess kind of skirt is that they're kind of reverse what you see a lot, which is usually flames rising up from the bottom of the fabric, whereas they're pointing downwards, which I think is interesting.
Maybe he handstands.
Maybe so. I don't super love character designs with masks over the mouths. I feel like it kind of cuts into the expression a little bit and cuts away from some of the possibilities of what you can do with the characters. It makes them look a little blank and flat to me. But I do kind of like it in the sense that we're at a time where a lot of people are having to wear masks, and so it's kind of inclusive.
Oda does it again.
Oda's cosplay these guys. It's safe. But and I like Alti's. I like Alti's mask because it's so weird and kind of interesting. I think it was Zach who said it looked like a doily.
No, that was me, I think.
I was going to say I don't remember saying that.
Signifies where you put snacks.
Yeah, so they're all cool. I was a little disappointed because you can kind of guess that it's going to be one of these chapters, but when it says introducing the Tobi Roppo, we still don't know a lot about them or anything. We just get to see them, but it's exciting to see what they look like and kind of wonder what they're going to be like. I'd already talked. Yeah, this has a lot of really great art in it. I love the Onigashima page as well as the one with Queen and the party and stuff. That's a really beautiful background work. As far as everyone dressing up as his minions, that made me a little bummed because I don't like that aesthetic as much as the samurai garb, but like was mentioned, that's probably going to eventually go away, and they'll come back in in different outfits again. It was kind of interesting how he does kind of slip a poo in there real quick, just so he can acknowledge that he's there, so we can get that out of the way. And it's almost a little bit of a ticking clock with him a little bit, like, well, he'll probably do something. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I had said this, but it is really genuinely like heartwarming and exciting to see Jinbei behind the wheel of the ship. Like he's an official member of the crew, and he's doing the job that he fulfills, and that's really cool. And it's nice to see that solidified. But yeah, to some extent, this is sort of a setup chapter. But it was a very fun chapter, regardless.
Abby.
Yeah, I'd echo that. The last few chapters have been finally, after a lot of sort of feeling like he's just been moving pieces around, like since the last time I was on the pod. It sort of felt like a lot of leading up to stuff. It's finally sort of like, this is probably what Oda's been looking forward to drawing this whole time, of just pirates beating the snot out of people. It's been hard to read the last several chapters without just wanting to listen to the theme song from Gokaiger. It's a good pirate song.
Very
it's
triumphant.
a good pirate song. Yeah. I'm a huge fan. I hope that Kaido's son is Urauge. Because he got beat up by the Charlotte pirates. He's from a sky island. Kaido hangs out up there sometimes. He's always grinning, which I didn't notice until I saw that on the wiki page. Who knows why that could be?
What was the what
It's
wasn't
a rouge,
didn't we
yeah,
see
just, yeah.
didn't we see a rouge when we first saw Kaido like up in
We did.
Yes.
on
we
the
did.
Sky Island?
Oh,
And he says like something like "leave him alone." I have to. That's like chapter 80 something
Yeah.
or
It's my
790
dad.
something.
It would be great. That's the last like
That is interesting.
supernova
yeah.
that we haven't really
Yeah,
explored at
they're
all.
both
Yeah.
huge.
They are. I mean, they fit. It fits. Let me
And he
look.
fought Diaz Drake.
I'll tell you someone who
Yeah.
doesn't want Rouge to be Kaido's son, and that's Hawkins, because that would make Hawkins bottom of the barrel of the supernovas.
It's already there.
I still
well-
say the
He's
killer's
there.
number 0. Boo,
Yeah,
the killer.
I'm with Joey.
Okay, it looks like maybe they act like they're strangers when they meet. Alas.
Oh, you looked. I was just looking just now. Okay, go ahead.
But exciting. So whoever it is, I'm still very, very pumped. Because it felt like they'd brought him up being around the Big Mom Pirates for him to show up at some point all through Whole Cake Island. I was like, oh, next chapter he's going to show up and change the situation. I was left disappointed, but I haven't been disappointed lately because everything since sort of the last bit of the flashback has been amazing, and the whole everything about Onigashima Island, like I just want to see it in 3D, and I'm heartbroken to know that the Pirate Warriors game will inevitably translate it into just like a blank featureless mass of nothing happening when it comes out in 7 years.
Steven.
I agree. I agree that it's not necessarily a chapter with a lot of forward plot movement, but what a beautiful, beautiful chapter. I think that was the first thing I said to Greg when we discussed this chapter. She's like, man, it is just gorgeous, and I don't know how much or whether or not to attribute any of that to the fact there was an extra week in, or if this was, if it was always going to look like this. But yeah, just a very sumptuous looking chapter. The backgrounds are incredible. Tons of character art, and even though I think with Oda's art style nowadays, a lot of times the crowd scenes are kind of tough to look at, or they're kind of tough to parse. I think he's managed to enact a scenario, especially with like people like the Gifters, where he could just do the silliest things, and it makes it worth looking at all these kind of gross grody looking guys, because there's some really fun and wacky details in there. And I think I mentioned a lot of my favorite points while we were doing the recap, such as Usopp's little page of Daring Do and the stuff. I agree that having Queen list off all of the bad guys like this is a lot more engaging and fun than let's say having a 2-page spread where you show all the faces of all of the primary members of the Doflamingo family and all of the other officers who go under them and all of the star rankings and things like that. This was it felt more organic, just that they're having this big dumb party. But I think I said last time, without knowing for sure, obviously, but I had a hunch that these characters that we see at the very end were going to be sort of like the cool ones of the bad guy group, the sort of the anti supernovas on Kaido's side, and that seems to be holding true. These have kind of the most conventional and interesting of the designs, I think, for his bad guys that he's set up. So I'm eager to find out more about them and find out like what their what makes them the best of the best. Also, one more thing that I wanted to point out too, similar to how we first saw Jack and he got beat. He's like this big mean guy in Zoe. And then we find out, he's like the youngest or the weakest of the 3 lead performers. I'm not surprised at all to see that page 1, the only, the real Toby. I don't count Drake. He's incognito. He's a double agent here. But that page 1 turns out to be like the bottom guy on the totem pole that everyone shits on. That does not surprise me at all, because that's just how it's just good, like, character introduction. Is like you show him off the first time and it's like, oh, this guy seems cool. Well, it turns out like he's no big deal, because you don't want to have to introduce a bunch of other characters and then have them all be subservient to the one you already saw. It makes them more of a letdown. So instead, everyone has to be above him.
So page 1 is the Raditz of the Toby Ropo.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Wow. Actually, Jack is more of the Raditz of the lead performers, if anything. Page 1 is the Nappa.
It's a different group.
Yeah. Whatever. Anyway,
they could connect. They could bond.
Anything else, Steven?
Nope.
Alex.
Yeah, echoing other comments. I love Onegashima's look. It's fucking incredible. Makes you wonder where all these giant artifacts came from. That sword is very interesting.
Yeah, dude. I am definitely like kind of imagining a scenario now where that sword belonged to that creature that we see the skull of, and he, puts down his sword in a dramatic moment and lays down to die or something, and it could be cool.
That would be really awesome. It kind of looks a lot like one of Odin's 2 swords, right? That hilt looks very similar. But it could just be like a random ass hilt. I don't know. I imagine Zoro like looking at that sword and like his just mouth is drooling, just like, oh, I want to use that thing. By the way, wouldn't it be really cool if Zoro used that sword in a battle? He
tried to bite it.
Yeah, like I want, like I don't know. It seems so stupid, but I just want it to happen. It's so dumb.
He fractures the earth in such a way that it falls on someone.
Yeah.
Giant sword style.
Seconding Steven's comment about the introduction of the pecking order here. It could be done in a boring way, but it's not. I love it. Queen rules. What a cool character. I like to maybe pose a few possibilities with the Toby Ropo here. I wonder if page 1 and Ulti are wearing masks due to a katakuri type way, where they have like monster mouths, and they don't want people to know that. If like, I do wonder if that's the case there. And as soon as I saw Black Maria, I'm just imagining the possibilities of a fight with Robin, simply just because of Robin's giant limbs that she's doing these days. I just want giant fists to be flying for that. Like, I think that would be that would be a really cool fight. And I think somebody brought up perhaps Jinbei versus Jack as a fight matchup, but now that I'm looking at Sasaki, I'm like, this guy is a Jinbei matchup right here.
It'd be interesting if like the first big fight he has as a member of the team is just like his doppelganger.
Yeah, I mean that guy is basically just a Jinbei with a new hat.
Jinbei's got a new hat.
Better hair.
He's less beanbaggy.
Yeah.
Jinbei was really beanbaggy in that when we're like his chibi form with the tiny stick legs. And,
yeah.
I don't think Chopper's going to mistake Sasaki for a chair. That's all.
Now that Oda has to draw Jinbei all the time, he needs to, he's got to figure out a shorthand way to draw him. Yeah. I really like Who's mask. And I gotta tell you,
who?
Oh God.
No, he's
Mike Jones,
first base. So I don't want him to be I want him to be cooler than Diamante, and I think he already is. But
low bar.
Speaking of Diamante, though, like I was during this whole thing, and Queen is doing his thing. I'm like, this is like, God, the main lieutenants for Kaido's crew are like such an apology for the Dressrosa guys. Like, I don't like, they're way more interesting looking, and they seem to have character to them. I might, be calling this early, but I'm just really excited to see all of these people in action. I'm ever so stoked. And yeah, that's it from me.
Steve Yurko, what do you think?
I really like this chapter. I what everyone said, it's not so much on plot progression, but just it paints a beautiful scenery with just Onigashima. I love the look of it. I was expecting more of like a Dragon Ball Z wasteland, and I'm so happy it's like the complete opposite of it. It looks like I don't want to say it looks like a livable place, but definitely it's a location that has character to it, which I shouldn't really doubt Oda for that case. Disappointed to see Straw Hats already out of new outfits and into disguises, but surely these aren't going to last too long. I think Kinemon reestablishing like, if you get damaged or take them off, they disappear. So something's going to happen. Someone's going to mess up. I think I was talking about some cute choppers throughout this chapter. No one mentioned the one when Jinbei's talking with Luffy on page 7. Just the adorable Chopper just looking on, listening to his his big blue uncle.
Uncle Jinbei.
Queen is really great. I think this was like an awesome way to pass some exposition or just go down the list of who's all here and make it fun. But the stars of the chapter were the Toby Ropo. I love that 2-page spread. This is just one of the most fun things about shonen manga, or at the very least One Piece, is just the opposing enemy team, and when you see them all hanging out together, I love it. I just like that they're not just characters waiting on a floor for you to fight. They have their own personal relationships with each other, their own quirks and their own interactions. I like seeing that, and then I just can't help but start to fantasy book who's going to fight who.
Actually,
it was great.
That's an important thing you just said there, because that's what was missing in Dressrosa a lot. Even with the Dressrosa flashback, like what Treble, Pika, Diamante, who cares? What, like, even in that flashback, what did we learn about them? Not much.
They all had like quirks, but they didn't have personality, which is there's a difference, I think, in that.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with you.
Dallinger was extremely lovable.
Yeah,
There are exceptions.
Dallinger had
I think
character.
we're talking
Growing up
about
in the
Diamante
background.
and Treble particularly. I think even Pika, you could give a little slack to. I
Pika,
feel
Pika
like.
was
Remember-
one joke. Pika was one joke, and he was
Yes.
cool. He had cool power, but he was one
Yes, yes, and yes.
Remember the Kilo fruit guy? You know, the
joke. Bachweiss.
Mach. Yeah.
Oh, you mean Mr.
What was
Four?
his character?
He had a beard.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Steve, do you have anything
it-
else to say about
God,
this?
it's like if Mr. Four and Miss Valentine mated. Ugh.
Oh no.
If they mated.
Oh yeah, it was
You mean
Miss
the
Valentine's,
Conan
wasn't it?
sketch
Oh, my-
from the
Yes,
from
if they made
40
it.
years ago? Yeah. Anything else, Steve, about this chapter?
Nah, it was just great.
Okay.
It was great.
Ed.
job.
Yeah.
I just want to add, that Usopp moment is actually very cool because I like it when Usopp gets to be cool and have confidence, but then also on the other hand, he is like, what if we don't want to go? He, he's got his priorities set. He behaves like the way you would expect him to, but I like to see him with more confidence in that moment there. Steve mentioned all the cute choppers. The Toby Ropo are just they're so cool. Like even if they're supposed to be like extremely cool and they're kind of trying really hard to look cool, but I don't know. They're
But you're
They
saying
seem
it
to be-
works.
well, yeah, they seem to have a relationship with Kaido that none of the other like King and Queen, they talk to Kaido, but like everyone below that, just he seems to be removed at least, and they sort of have a familiarity with him and a weariness of his like. I guess they get to see him up close. They seem to have opinions about his family. So again, with the son, so ending the last two chapters on the same theme of like what's going on with my son, and he's having a family issue. Oh, don't talk about that. Like,
Yeah.
so that's interesting. I'm curious to see where that goes. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'll anything else, Ed, or you're good?
No, I'm good.
I'll just put in. I'll go quick since we've been talking for like almost 90 minutes. So this feels like the NES lobby of Wano in a way, where we're moving from the cool intrigue and we're literally moving away from the main part of Wano and we're heading toward, okay, now we're going to get this badass scenery that doesn't really make sense, which NES lobby, I don't know if anyone remembers, was the island that it never got dark and sat atop a waterfall somehow. But let's not think about that too much. And this one is just like, let's throw all the other Japanese stuff I didn't have time to put into Wano, which apparently was a lot. I thought they got a lot out of the way. But here's all the other stuff and some of the stuff you've seen before. Plus, all these monsters and amazing people and crazy ass villains. And we talked about two things that this chapter does well, and I do want to hammer it home. It does exposition well. It doesn't just do exposition well. I think this is the best Oda has ever reintroduced people before, because he does this a lot, and understandably because he introduces like 5,000 characters per chapter. He never gets tired of making new characters. But like we've been introduced to the waiters, the pleasures, and the gifters at least 2 to 3 times, I think, at this point. And yet this was, I think, the most engaging and cool introduction. And I particularly like that page 12, 13 2-page spread that we said looked like the Katsukan Magfest convention floor. It's just a super cool look. And Queen, I think we are understating how much I think he steals this chapter. When I read through this chapter, I read through it pretty quick. But yeah, it is packed with little stuff, and that is why we have talked about it for so long. And not like little lore stuff like we were talking about during the flashback. It's just packed with that stuff you love about One Piece, and there's, you get some real standout features with the Straw Hats. We talked about Usopp, even a little bit of Jinbei, and tons of Chopper, and even Sanji acting like an idiot in the background. But you also have, this new crew. And I don't know if we talked about this at all, but I really, really love the page layout for that last 2-page spread. It really catches the eye in a really different way. And I'm not the artist on this podcast by any means, but it's like super organized looking, but also really, I think clever in how it introduces these 6 people in a way that it could be really boring, but I think isn't. And I agree with Ed. They're all trying to be cool. They all look like anime characters in a way, for the most part, in a way that Oda doesn't usually do, but I think it works because it's still done in Oda's style. I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, it's Gladius from Dressrosa as well. So
Gladius, I think, is that, but Gladius, I think, is that in the most like.
He was
and
boring.
he's steampunk,
boring as hell.
And
He
he's
was boring.
steampunk, and he has
Remember
no other
when everyone
personality.
was sure Gladius was Sabo?
Yes, I do remember that.
Oh,
because
yeah.
he had the
Yeah,
hat.
I do not remember that.
Do you guys think page 1 is Sabo?
I
that's
actually
a
had
great
thoughts
question.
because he has an ace tattoo with it. The C has been changed into a G, so I think there are actually 2 aces. Like since the beginning, what's her name gave birth to twins, and one of them has been like the public ace, and this one
I
has
see.
changed his name to page 1, but eventually he's going to come out as the real ace.
public
2.
ace, and he's the private
Ace
ace. I see. Yeah, ace 2.
Played by Leonardo DiCaprio.
Wait, so Luffy's brother's name is Ace, and then Doflamingo's Pirates had a card game theme, and now Kaido's guys have a card game theme. I think Oda.
And
That's
they
why
were
we
the
had
Spade
that.
Pirates.
That's why he
Yeah.
had to die. Just
Yes.
That's why.
Otherwise, it would have been too confusing.
really confusing.
Really confusing. Anyway, any other? Oh, yeah, and Black Maria being huge is like, what is going on there? That's the last thing I have to say. That one really confused me.
Women are
She has
huge. What is going on
swords
here?
as her hair ornaments. I hope like
That
Zoro
part's
and she
cool,
fall
yeah.
in love, and he like pulls out the swords romantically to take her hair down, but that he's just
Yeah,
got
but-
them all stuffed in his mouth. He
Yeah,
can't
he'll
talk.
just be interested in the swords and then walk
Oh.
away.
I feel
He'll
like
be
the
like-
scene with the chess pieces in Austin Powers.
Zoro's like, I am in love with that hairpiece.
Yeah, I mean, talk about dang, you're big, right?
Yeah,
Or you're huge.
that's right.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
I'm
Maybe
going.
Zoro
I'm
has
going
a
to marry
thing,
Black
yeah.
Maria so much that my girlfriend reaches up to the heavens. No, it doesn't work. There was something there.
Any other thoughts,
No, I'm
Yeah,
good.
nah, go ahead.
No, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Joey?
Oh, I just on the subject of Black Maria, the fact that like Jill was talking about on Twitter, the fact that you can't see her bottom half and how awesome it would be if she was like the evil Shirahoshi.
Evil Hoshi.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's gonna do it. Let's move into some Piece Together. This is the Piece Together segment where we take your questions, comments, theories, and then we throw them all in a big beanbag djembe, and I don't think we really do much with it. But Ed, what do we have first?
Displease.
So yeah, what do we have on Discord from our Patreon listeners?
Sure. First one comes from King Doji, who says, I was wondering how big that skull was as soon as I saw the first notice the ships in the corner of the panel. If the Sunny is 56 meters tall, and he says he's trying to find confirmation on that, then from what we see of the skull, it's about 871 meters tall, not including the horns. So the whole giant could be 8,000 meters tall.
Okay, I gotta.
I mean-
so let's translate that into American meters, which are feet. That's 2,857 feet. I have no
That's a
idea.
lot.
How, that's a lot. It's like a
No,
mountain.
that's not right. That's like, what, 25,000 feet?
2,857 feet. It's like a small mountain.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't know. That's some good math right there. Although I'm not qualified to talk about math. All right, next one comes from Leo D. Morgan. He says, "Hey, OPP peeps, been listening to you guys since I saw a tweet from you guys just after having seen One Piece Film Gold, and haven't been listening and enjoying every week since. I just wanted to thank you for giving me at least an hour or more of fun listening every week. Also, can't wait for Steve and Alex to watch the 4Kids dub."
Oh, so
And
by
you know that they're contributing to that because this is the Patreon supporters forum.
Perfect time to say we will do forced to watch 4Kids if we just get around $80 more on Patreon. So we have to hit 1,500. So we could do it. We could force Steve and Alex, and I'll probably also be forced to watch some 4Kids. Yeah, and I also want to say the Burj Khalifa is around that tall. That's the tallest building in the world. So that gives you an idea. There, 2,800-ish. Yeah.
Last one comes from Ochi-san, who says, "Hey OPP, hope you are all taking care of yourselves and enjoying the marvel that is Black Maria. Now I'm guessing the gigantic sword was owned by whoever's skull houses Kaido's castle. This really makes me hope for a callback to the Oars race, and if they hail from Wano. I also can't wait for Zoro to get lost and become friends with Kaido's son." And yeah, they want Ulti to join the crew. And I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know if I want that personality.
Record time.
That was quick. Perona.
Wow.
I have to say, I love the image of a species of giants big enough to be that skull inhabiting Wano and just struggling to keep on the island without falling off.
That is the thing.
They're
about
too
the
dang
orcs,
big.
You know? Yeah, too big. That's it. Last one.
I think it's decorative.
All right.
I want to see Zoro befriend the enemy who's like a mirror of himself. You know, just so Zoro can know what it feels like when doves cry.
Okay. Ed, what's the
Zoro
next
was
part?
my name.
What's the next piece together part called?
Email.
Yeah, I preferred the email theme, but it's fine. Okay, this one comes from Mohammed, who says, "First, wanted to start off by saying thank you for all the work you guys do, and an even bigger thanks for you guys for keeping me company on my 25-plus hour drive a few days ago." So he listened to 2 episodes, I'm assuming. Anyway, speaking of pet peeves from last week, looks like there won't be any running away during this battle, so at least Steve will be happy. One thing I can't get over is that almost every promotional or video game representation of the Straw Hats is in their Fishman Island attire. Aside from Luffy, all the Straw Hats have worn something different since then. I think we've also discussed that as a pet peeve here on the show.
Yeah, I was very confused because you kept calling it Fishman Island, and I was like, wait, are you just talking about the post-time skip outfits? Like the default post-time skip? Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, I always wish they do more in the other outfits because they have a lot of much cooler outfits. 2 of them were in this chapter. Anyway, this is the question he wanted to ask. I always hear the theory being thrown around that Pudding can use her powers to restore Big Mom's memory, especially during the time when she got amnesia. A lot of people, including some from the podcast, began theorizing that if Big Mom recovers from her amnesia, naturally or through Pudding, that she'll somehow remember the moment in which she ate Mother Carmel and the other orphans. And the problem I see with that is that Big Mom remembers the incident perfectly, which in her case was seeing them present, the croquembouche, eating it, and then the mysterious disappearance of them. To Big Mom, there is no memory of her eating them. Sorry if this was already addressed, but it was something that always bothered me and wanted to clarify it.
Sure. Makes sense to me.
Yeah. I don't think it would serve the story for her to remember that perfectly. I think it would just torture her needlessly. Like, although, yeah, but like, I don't know. Any other thoughts on that?
There might have been a way for that to work in Whole Cake Island, but now that we're past that, I don't think that's really a story possibility that has a lot of drama left in it, in my opinion.
Hollow Trifecta has our next question. Assuming Onigashima is actually a full body floating in water and not just the head skull that we have seen so far, do you think that Gecko Moria would be able to make it a zombie if he got enough powerful shadows together, this person's trying to come up with more ideas on how Blackbeard takes advantage of all the chaos when, I'd say if, he shows up during the battle?
Yeah, seems like he could. I wonder if he could animate. He can animate like inanimate objects too. It doesn't have to be a corpse, right? I don't know.
Yeah, with a shadow, I assume. That's a good question.
I've never seen him bring an inanimate object back to life.
It's true. I was thinking of like the stuff in the house, but those were all like animal pelts and things. So
yeah. Like,
no, the painting.
Oink Chuck was
What about the painting?
Oink Chuck was like a pig head on the. No, it was a person in a frame. It's One Piece, man. It's crazy.
Because it's One Piece, the answer is always sure. I
Mhm.
guess. Yeah, most of the time. That's it for emails. Steven, what do we have on Reddit?
Let's visit the subreddit archipelago, where our first question is
Came up
from
with a name. That's great.
A Woody 8, who says, would you want to see any of the Straw Hats fight any of the Flying Six, the Tobiropo, in the final battle? If so, who? So, all right, matchups. Book your fights now. I think we said Robin and Black Maria.
Yeah.
Jinbei and Sasaki would be good.
Yeah. I agree with both of those.
I mean, do you bother wanting to see Sanji against Page One again, or is that just over?
Yeah.
Well, I assume Zoro would end up going against one of the lead performers and not Tobiropo, and maybe same with Sanji. But
I keep forgetting about the lead performers. That's like a big,
King,
and also
Queen,
like
Jack,
also like I can't help but wonder if like the Tobiropo were for like the Akazaya 9 to fight, which would kind of disappoint me. It's like, hey, how about like 7 sword fights? Like, no.
Actually, that sounds awesome. So screw you, Steve.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? It's like, if that's what's gonna happen, prove me wrong, Oda. But for now, I don't know. You know me. I kind of like characters that kick.
All right. Our next comment is from 23 Years Virgin, who says, hello, OPP. Being at home and having a lot of time on my hands, I started to make renovations to my otaku office, such as framing posters, ordering all of my manga in alphabetical order, and dusting off my figures, parentheses, not underlining my username, close parentheses. My question is, what have you done in your to-do list that you have been writing down for years?
Is this like a general thing, or is this just manga?
I guess so. I mean, he brought it up, through the lens of his otaku office. So maybe there's some, anime backlogs or something like that.
I just call that my office.
Same.
Yeah.
It's where I've been doing my regular work too recently. So yes, both.
Not your otaku work.
Both. I've been doing both otaku and non-otaku work at my otaku desk. Ed, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just digitizing my DVD collection.
Preparing for the apocalypse.
Yep.
Which we're in.
Oh yeah, I guess I'm I don't know, I'm playing video games, which is not something that I normally do if I have work all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been playing Animal Crossing like crazy and Final Fantasy Remake. And I bought Death Stranding so I could have something to play after I'm done that.
Listen to a lot of music too.
I've been doing
yeah, Joey, go ahead.
A tokusatsu deep dive lately because the quarantine sort of happened to coincide with all 98 episodes of the original Kamen Rider coming out on Tubi or Shout Factory's channels and Toei opening up this kind of weird YouTube channel where they've just sort of dumped a bunch of stuff that some of the episodes have subtitles. So I've just been kind of poking around and watching hours and hours of people punching each other and explosions happening.
Interesting.
Which Sentai have you been going through?
Sentai, well, I have, so unfortunately...
Or if any.
Yeah, nothing Sentai-wise because they have all those region blocks. Well, that's not true. I've been watching a little bit of is it Die Ranger? That's the like Kung Fu themed
Oh, the one right after Zhu Ranger? Yeah.
Yeah. I've been watching some Die Ranger on Shout Factories, and that was sort of a bucket list because I've been meaning to check that one out because it's really cool, but it got kind of overshadowed by that's what I had just started watching when my main jam's been Kamen Rider because that show's been really, really great. There's some good stuff on that Toei Tokusatsu world that's not even like action stuff. There's like some magical girl comedy stuff and some other stuff that's really fun too. Yeah, so.
Well, if you're looking for a new one, I want to push you to watch Car Ranger on the Shout Factory.
Oh yeah,
because Car Ranger is great.
I haven't seen that one, but I've heard it's really funny. Like that's a comedy series.
It's a very One Piece kind of a sense of humor.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I should check that out.
Abby, what have you been up to?
I've been watching Car Ranger. And painting a lot of tiny little action figures. I bought some board games to play with my roommates, all of which have little minis. And then I said, well, we can't play them until I've painted all of these minis. So we'll never actually play the board games. But I have lots of toys to look at and cover with paint.
It's important.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of everyone's favorite toys, Be My Friends 49 says, which character from a previous arc did you think or wish that they would join the Straw Hats? For me, it was Margaret from Amazon Lily.
I remember because I do like Margaret. She's my favorite of like all like the Kujas. But I remember when she was introduced because I felt like this is still at a time when only so few characters got like a full like body like introduction. I meant like their entire figure was drawn with an Oda box. Mm-hmm. And for like a character like that to have such like a prominent introduction, everyone just started speculating. And I remember people jumping the gun and drawing her with the Straw Hats, and it was like, whoa, chill. We're a few chapters into this arc. But I don't know, I always trusted Oda. So I don't think there's anyone like, I should have joined. I just remember
Kaku.
Yeah, I thought he was for a while.
Yeah.
I remember Kami.
It's not too late. He's not dead.
He's dead to me.
Geez, I don't know about you guys, but I kind of wanted one of those Davy Back shipwrights to join.
Oh.
Oh my God.
No, I don't. I'm kidding.
It's a really deep cut.
A recent one that I thought maybe was going to join early on in the arc was Leo. I remember him being introduced and kind of being like, oh, this is a new character who seems really fun and has an interesting power and like would be a different type of character on the crew.
I mean, he kind of was, like.
Yeah, too bad he didn't use that power for anything.
Yeah,
Jesus, yeah.
I'm so mad about
I think
that.
at first I was like, I mean, like I personally think, I guess I personally used to think that the Straw Hats should kind of have that same ideal that the Big Mom Pirates had, like, oh, you're representing all the species from around the world, and and you're just like, you represent the diversity of the world that you're in, which would be super cool. But that hasn't really happened all that much. Jimbei aside, I guess. I'm trying to think. Like, we have no giants.
Kind of.
Chopper,
I think that
kind
weird
of.
little jelly gangster man who hung out with Pudding would have a lot to contribute to the crew.
Nitro. Why do I remember that? Why do I remember that?
Recall.
Damn it. I'm leaving. I'm done with this podcast.
But like talking about Leo, like just think, okay, in this chapter we talked about how many tiny choppers there were in various panels, and imagine how is he going to draw a Leo who is like a speck next to Chopper, who's already the tiniest member.
Okay, Jinbei's already huge, and Frank, like there's going to be a diversity in size. I think the Roger Pirates, which we went through last week as part of the SBS for Volume 96, like I think it goes to show that there could be a lot of diversity in a crew, and it could still work. Obviously, Roger's crew was like 4 times the size of Luffy's, but I think there's a lot of great potential. Yeah.
Well, there's the idea, and then there's drawing it.
Yeah. They have to be reasonable to fit together.
Leo would always have to be in the foreground or on somebody's shoulder or something.
Oda never does things because it's easier to draw. In fact, he does the opposite. And we've discussed this before, Steve, with what's his face? Barbanuki. Like, he goes out of his way to make things more difficult to draw, and so like I don't think he would.
But at least the staging is probable.
Yeah, well, is it always? I don't know. Okay.
You know
Steven.
that guy who repairs that door between two panels in like an early
Yes.
volume that he talks about in the SBS? What if he's joined the crew like years ago and we just haven't seen?
I'll put it this way,
Yeah, I've
Abby.
seen
Yeah, Abby, I'd say this. I'd be disappointed if he wasn't part of the crew.
He's the Klabauterman of the Sun.
He was
Yeah,
just on the right of that panel of them all lifting
No,
their
that's his
fists, this
brother.
guy.
His brother's the one in Wano. I think, Steve, you were
Aw.
wrong. Yeah. I think it was his brother or relative.
Minatomo Kloboterman.
Yeah.
I'll write that down. But
of the Wano Klabautermans. Yeah.
that's amazing.
Niver says, in the SBS recap last week, there is a question that explains why Luffy gives nicknames to people outside his crew because he doesn't care to remember their names, but he calls Caribou by his name in the labor camp. Oh no, is Caribou going to join the Straw Hats?
Yes.
No, see, the problem with this is that he remembers his crewmates and he remembers the bad guys that he beats up. So that's where Caribou goes. He remembers Caribou because he hates him so much.
Yeah.
Didn't he didn't know Caesar's name for a while, right? Like Gas Guy, or he called him a whole bunch of other stuff, right?
Did he?
Yeah, gas hole.
I think he probably remembered Caribou's name because he looks so much like a caribou.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah.
makes
Easy
sense.
mnemonic.
Yeah.
True. and Luffy definitely knows where Caribous are too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Brutusness says, now that we've seen Onigashima up close as well as some of Kaido's estate, would you rather live on Onigashima or Whole Cake Island, provided you were guaranteed room and board? Which one jives with you more aesthetically?
Well, you have a choice with your hometown being toppled when Big Mom doesn't get her food, or there's a chance you get punched into the sky by a drunkard.
I don't know.
I have a lot of-
Whole Cake Island sounds like more fun.
Yeah.
I have a lot of impulse control when there are delicious snacks around me, so I think I got to do Wano.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a tough choice.
What was the question again?
Where would you stay, Onigashima or Whole Cake Island, if you had room and board?
Room and board? Jesus. Neither of them are ideal. Right now, probably Onigashima, just because I'm fucking weeb.
All right. Falcon Gale says, is it just me or does page 1 seem less intimidating now? I mean, maybe it was how the scene was designed and spaced, but I feel like page 1 looked a little wimpy next to the other Tobiropo.
It's got to be the bucket hat.
Yeah. And wasn't he like, okay, I closed the chapter now, but wasn't he like sitting with his feet up on the bench?
Yeah, like a kid.
With his knees up. Yeah.
Like a little kid.
Yeah. Typeset says, please review where the ship full of minks came from again. Thank you. I mean, we didn't see them show up, but it was that was like Shishilian, right? And all the guys he brought from Zoe. I think that's basically all it was. A nervous flower says, hey OOP, is anyone else concerned that Law might be hiding something? I don't think he would betray the operation, but the way he is shown on the first page with his face turned away and shadowed, as well as the way the panels breaking up the scenes are positioned over his face, had me thinking about the whole imprisonment debacle earlier in the arc when Shinobu thought his crew might betray them. We also don't know what agreement he made to be released, even if it was with Denjiro or Drake. Like I said, I don't think he'd betray everyone to Kaido, but I'm worried he might be involved with something that will seem like betrayal. I guess his appearance in that panel just made me nervous. Okay, so do I need to explain this? The whole thing with the imprisonment debacle was an example in why you should not suspect Law based on nothing but him acting shady, because that's just what he does. Also, the very last chapter was him saying, "Get off my ship," and there they are inside his ship.
And also they're being annoying. And Shachi's
He's-
pointing out, as Steve said, look, this is a window. And Law's just like, oh, these fucking guys. Oh my God.
Like, and most of all, Law has resting bitch face. So
Exactly. Yes.
He's a pouty man.
yeah.
All right. Last question is from Karugan. Hey, OPP, do you think Black Maria is part of the giant race? If yes, how do you think Big Mom's going to react to her? And if no, then my question changes to how do you think Kawamatsu is going to react to seeing another fishman like Sasaki or Jinbei? It's safe to assume that he's never seen another fishman other than his deceased mother, so I'm curious on how he'll take it.
I just had a really cute image of Kawamatsu meeting Jinbei for the first time and give him a big hug.
Maybe getting some tears.
Yeah. Isn't that
I'm
cute?
not a Kappa after all.
No, but I think Kawamatsu, like that was the question in the SBS where Oda was like, but he says he's a kappa, so let's just agree that he's a kappa.
I like the idea of him meeting another fish man and just being like, so you're a whole species of part fish, part. That's weird. That's so bizarre.
So
I didn't know there were blue kappas.
You don't pull people's souls out of their buttholes? About Black Maria, though, do you? I guess I don't know. Does anyone think that she could be like part giant, like a half, like the guys on Foxy's crew?
Yeah, I think she's a halvesy.
That would work, I think. Because it doesn't seem like proportionally it would work if she was a full giant. She'd be too big for that panel.
I mean, I think it might be too early to tell.
Yeah. I don't know. It's very interesting, though. I think everybody really digs the Black Maria look.
She could always just be like a giant, like hologram, like Snoke.
So Steve, is that? I mean, so Stephen, is that it for the subreddit archipelago?
That is it for the subreddit archipelago.
Ed, it's time to
Peace the tweet. Yeah.
Thanks, Ed. What's going on Twitter?
I don't know. We'll find out as soon as I get Twitter open.
I didn't realize we were going with subreddit archipelago. Is that our winner?
Do you have?
You guys hated all of them, so that's my winner.
Wait, Stephen, do you have who actually gave that one out? Subreddit. Didn't someone come up with that, or did you come up with that?
No, that was. Oh, are you suggesting that I take suggestions and I have ghostwriters? What? I'm offended.
Can you translate Shonen Jump?
No, because we also got suggestions from fans. So I was okay. Ed, what are the questions?
There are one's from Retro Cabal. What happened to Usopp's frog? Multiple people have wondered this.
Toadsap.
Yeah, it's a toad.
Yeah.
Okay.
P.S. I'll find my frog.
By the way, we liked Usopp's head toad before it was cool. Like that was like our first Wano episode image title thing. Anyway,
I love him head to toad.
Oh my
if I
god!
looking for frog, him name is Hopkins Green Frog.
Full of toady goodness.
Oh my god! Okay.
Oh my god!
All right.
Wait, do you think Oda's gonna address it in an SBS though? The toad, like at any point, has he ever mentioned it or didn't he like say something?
His name is Pyonosuke. That was in an SBS.
Okay.
You know, my biggest complaint about the Wano arc is just the plot hole of the toad. Where did it go? It's really just suspended my disbelief here.
It fell through a time portal, learned sumo, and decided to fight a train.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love it. Yes.
All right, next one comes from 91 Ryan, who says, today's chapter is a good one when it trends on social media before the official release. Well, I wish it wouldn't do that, but what are the odds that a disguised Luffy would run into Kaido's son while wandering around Onigashima? So, Luffy, we've already had Zoro suggested as well, so.
Oh, that's interesting. I like that idea.
Mm-hmm. Well, because I wonder if he's like trying to escape. Like he doesn't like, he's just being rebellious teenage son.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Although Kaido is actually quite old based on how old Big Mom is as well. So
Yeah, but you could have a
he's
son late in life.
well,
That's
that's true.
Yeah.
Hasn't stopped Big Mom. So
That's
next
for
one.
sure. She has little kids. Like
Oh,
little
hang on.
kids.
It's Geen.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Tenru.
They all
Yes.
Duval.
Aww.
All right, next one comes from Kendra, who says, what is the One Piece name for records Apu is mixing? And a fun fact, both My Hero Academia and One Piece featured a DJ this week. Do check out the My Hero Academia podcast with Kendra.
Man,
No.
what is he
like
playing?
flat dials, long play dials.
Oh,
I don't know.
let's see. Wiki water music.
What?
I'm white.
Wait, you're
Yeah.
I have a Switch too.
white? Okay, what's next, Ed?
Wow.
All right.
Final.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Anyway, next one comes from that one welder guy who says Keenan's Closet, the temporary clothing store. That's a good one. Our very own Adil writes in to say, if Luffy's last name was a pun based on something related to his goal, like Ash Ketchum, what would it be?
Oh boy.
Can you reveal?
That's a great question.
If Luffy's last name was a pun based on something related to his goal, like Ash Ketchum, what would it be?
King OD Pirate.
It's just the
That's a real-
last name. It's just the last name. So it would be like Luffy, King O.D. Pirate.
Luffy D Pirate King.
Royal
Line
Luffy
driver.
Bomb.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. Next one comes from Johnny24, who says, in the beginning of Whole Cake, it was hinted that Brooke knew of Germa 66, or knew Germa 66, but it turned out to be nothing. Double six, yeah. Do you think Oda had something planned, or was that just overthinking things? I think it just shows that that Brooke is old.
Yeah. I think we put a lot of emphasis on those like word balloons that have just ellipses in them, and I think they don't always necessarily mean there's a secret in here. But I don't know. I wanted there to be something.
I still think there is something, and that it's going to be related to the giant story. So it's going to be more of an Elbaf thing. Although who knows? Oda seems to be cramming so much into this arc, including keeping Big Mom around, that I could easily see him kind of revealing what that is before Wano is over. But that's what I understand what you're saying, Joey, but he was very specifically talking about like, oh, that sounds interesting, and then like not saying anything about it. It was not an informational like drop where it's like, oh, Brooke says something because it's related to what we need to know. It was more like, oh, Brooke knows something, but he's not saying what it is, and then it was never revealed. So that's why I feel like he still is holding on to that. But I am surprised it didn't come up in the arc itself.
All right, next one comes from Shonen Spotlight, who writes in to say, Big Mom's children are on Onigashima too. Is this finally Smoothie's time to shine? I'd like that. Yeah, that'd be great. Nice. Yeah. Next one comes from Pow SA, who says, Kid and his crew are rocking the Beast Pirates aesthetic, but which character would you like to see in the Beast Pirates outfit?
If Buggy was in it, he'd try to expand and it would just snap him right back like a
Wait, hold on. Fat Moji. Because he's because Moji and Richie are fat now.
Yeah, they are. They're fat they're fat enablers.
Yeah.
They're now two fat men and a fat baby.
Let's see. It's a hard one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Lucci would look good in that actually, as a half like cheetah thing.
Yeah. My go-to for this kind of thing is always Gaimon. Just put some liver slaps on that.
Yeah, he
Poor-
just has
poor
shoulder
guy.
pads. That's it.
Amigo pirates.
All right. Next one.
I don't think you can do Luigi. It would just be too. It would be too horny. It's bad enough with the straw hats. But,
Crocodile.
It'd be too horny.
Yeah.
Go Flamingo. Like all the really horny looking characters.
Yeah.
Mihawk. I mean, it would fit right in, but still.
Hey,
All right.
Rona.
Okay. Yeah. You can
Next
go.
one comes from Joni D. Castro, who says, "Hey OPP," and actually this is this question, Stephen. You've already answered this. That you think that Ulti and Page One could be related, but they do mention that it reminds them of how Azula and how she would call Zuko Zuzu. If that's from Avatar, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
What about when Pudding called Sanji Chi?
I will say, since I didn't actually mention this when I was talking about her kind of speech, her funny speech, is that Pepe was my creation. What she calls him in Japanese is Peitan. So it's sort of like the tan.
That's
like,
really cutesy.
Instead of China. Yeah, it's super cutesy. So I went with Pepe
Okay.
instead. But from what I could see, it seemed like people really dug that. They thought that was really funny and cute. So I think it worked.
Pepe's kids.
And actually, the last one is for
They multiply.
the last one is actually another one we've already kind of answered. Dude, you found that question is from Shibani Sasaki. So you think Sasaki is this game designer? Maybe.
Or
Mhm.
maybe he's Sasaki from Shueisha.
Maybe. Could be either way. Yeah. But yeah, so Drake is the only other one, and he's not related to a card game, I don't think.
No, he just has the 10, the Diaz in his name.
Yep.
Okay. All right then. That's it.
Yep. That'll do it.
Yeah.
Let's round off.
Cool.
Okay.
This has been the One Piece podcast, episode 618 for April 26th, 2020. Thank you all for coming on the show this week. I want to remind people that we are trying to do more on Patreon since we have a little more time, or at least the availability, since things are a little crazy out there. So every Wednesday at around 9 p.m. Eastern or so, we hope to be doing special Davy Jack fight games, which are Jackbox games for those who don't know, and we make it available live for all patrons, and then we put it for the $10 tier if you miss out on the live feed. So please subscribe to us there. We're going to also be putting a lot of other cool stuff, including our Stampede commentary, which I should have up there pretty soon. Alternate images and episode titles, which this one has at least like 15 episode titles at least, and a lot more. But before we get into trivia, where could the good people find all of you out there? Abby, where could people find you?
I am on Twitter at MIZABITHA, Abby Denton, although I might be changing that as a concerted effort to brand better at some point in the not too distant future. And that's pretty much everywhere at the moment.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you for coming on again.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Joey, where could people find you?
I'm at Joey Weiser on Twitter and Joey Weiser Comics on Instagram. Please check out my graphic novels, the Merman graphic novel series and Ghost Hog. And please listen to Toho Yaro, a Japanese film club podcast that I do with Alex and our friend V. Pretty soon we'll be dropping an episode covering Battles Without Honor and Humanity. And then the episode after that will be covering Juzo Itami's A Taxing Woman with special guest Ed from the One Piece podcast.
Yes,
So-
that's right.
That'll
Who?
be fun.
Oh, I love that guy.
Oh, and follow Toho Yaro on Twitter as well.
Alex, where could people find you?
Find me on Twitter at dude exclamation, all one word. Joey already gave the Toho Yaro plug, so please listen to that every week for the foreseeable future. And Please check out Super Art Fight on Twitch, twitch.tv/Super Art Fight. We're doing shows on Twitch now, and it's a lot of fun. I got to participate in the first of our Super Art Fight Neo, aka Never Ending Off Season shows. And that video is available to watch, I think, on our YouTube channel or on our Twitch channel. So please subscribe to that. We're going to be doing more fun live shows and playing Jackbox and stuff like that, too. Yeah, that's it from me.
Thank you, Alex. Steve, where could people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. Steve Yurko is my name and the username because I'm also not good at branding. And you can also listen to me on other podcasts. You can listen to me on The Deep End. You can listen to me on Toon Suite. And what's going on lately? You could watch Duncanville on Fox and Hulu. Actually, I think the latest episode that just aired as of this recording is another episode I boarded. So feel free to check that one out.
And I know Rick and Morty that you did not board, I think is starting May 5th-ish or so.
Like next weekend, yeah.
Next weekend, yeah.
But Brian Brian directed on that.
Brian, yeah. Oh, there's
On
a
those
featurette
episodes.
Adult Swim published that Brian is in. That you should
Brian
check
Newton. For the
Brian
rest of
was
us.
And when
lifting
asked
it.
for comment, and when asked for comment, Brian said, "I do not remember this."
out.
Brian looks like he was lifting at the time.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
got big arms in there.
Yeah,
Anyway,
he's swole.
Post time skip.
it's post time skip Brian Newton. Steven, where can people find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Translatosaurus, and you can read my work on One Piece at shonenjump.viz.com or Manga Plus, that's shueisha.co.jp. And as well as far as I know, tentatively, I am still scheduled to begin working on a one of the new series that is just coming out. In fact, I think by the process of elimination, you can tell which one it is because I think there's only one left that hasn't come out, but that is supposed to be later in May, I guess, pending the any schedule changes based on the countermeasures against the coronavirus. So we'll see when it comes out, but I should be having more manga. You'll be seeing more manga translated by me in Shonen Jump soon.
Thank you, Stephen. And Ed, before we get into trivia, where could the good people out there contact us?
Well, you are Zach_Logan on Twitter. I'm at Edward E. One Piece. I can also be found at Weeb Trailers. Check that out. Podcasts can be found at OnePiecePodcast.com, Twitter.com, YouTube.com, and Facebook.com/OnePiecePodcast. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is our email address. One Piece Podcast is the Skype name. And you can subscribe on SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, or call us on our phone number, Zach.
And that phone number is 347-497. I know it. 347-497 Maji.
Maji.
That phone number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime
Anytime.
with your
Please
questions,
call.
comments, theories, or who's on first. So let's get into some trivia. So this week we were blessed to find out 6 names of the Toby Robo. So I thought it was only fair to ask you all of the named members of the Animal Kingdom pirates, if you can. So I don't know, Abby, if you want to participate in this as well. There's no pressure. And I know Joey.
I can but try.
Oh, she gets the option, huh?
Yeah, Joey is forced to.
I seem to recall sweeping the boards last time.
Okay, so let's see if this happens again. We're gonna go
Well,
on this.
I don't even need the option at all because my dinner's on the table. So later, suckers.
Whoa! Wow, he
That-
just
Just
left
like that,
the
a puff
room.
of smoke.
Don't be jealous. He's just eating Kraft macaroni and cheese.
I'm jealous.
Good idea.
Okay, so we're gonna go Ed, Joey, Abby, Steve, Alex. Gonna go through them until we cross all these out. There's a lot. Ed.
Kaido.
And by the way, for those who haven't played this game, you name all the characters in this category. So here are the Animal Kingdom pirates. If you can't name one, if you name the same one someone else named, or if you name the wrong one, you're out. Okay, so go ahead, Joey.
Batman.
Good one. Abby.
I'm out.
What?
What?
No, you could do it, Abby.
There's
They're not
several
fun.
of them from this.
The good guys in this arc that are fun.
You're not wrong.
Panda Man.
Wow, that's one of the men that are not.
He was shown as one. I
Oh,
checked.
you know what? Okay,
Okay.
I'll let you stay in. Steve.
Hey, I'm Ratman too. No. A big queen.
Alex.
I just have to say, I love that Steve referenced dialogue that we made up for Force Awakens. King.
Ed.
Jack.
Joey.
Diaz Drake.
Abby.
Basil Hawkins. Does he
Yep.
count?
That
Yes.
counts.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Steve.
Page 1.
Alex.
Baba Nuki.
Baba Nuki indeed. Baba Nuke you. I don't know why I said that. Ed. Yeah. Yeah. Ed.
No. Ulti. I'll go with Ulti.
Ulti. Joey.
Who's who?
Who's who?
No, you have to guess.
Yeah, you have
Who's
to guess the person.
I guess who's who?
Is he not going to answer the question?
This is
Abby.
great.
Abby.
Black Maria.
Black Huria. Steve.
Hey.
Sasaki.
Sasaki-san. Alex.
What do you call?
I don't know. You tell me. Who's who?
Jack.
Nope. Already said. Sorry, Alex.
Fudge.
Yeah, you gotta
Is that
pay
in and out?
attention. Ed has a switch.
Yeah.
Ed.
Speed.
Yeah, that has not been said. Joey. Which, by the way, considering you hate this game, you've been doing pretty well.
Yeah, no, I've hit. Okay. Is his name Sasori?
Can you describe him?
The-
No, wait. Sasori.
The scorpion guy?
The scorpion guy. Oh, I know who you're talking about. No, that is not his name.
Okay.
Sorry,
Well.
Jerry. Abby.
He's out.
Scratchman Apu.
Oh.
Yes. Steve.
Batman.
That was
Already
said
said.
already.
That's what I
Oh,
said.
I thought you said Ratman.
Nope.
Because
Why would I say Ratman?
Because there's that rat guy. Or was he a mouse?
I'm not going to say, but right now, Ed and Abby are the last two in. Ed.
Gazelle Man.
Yes. Abby.
I got no one. I've got
Oh, you could do it.
Kenjiro, and he's no one. He's not on the pirates.
You don't
Kenjiro
want
is
it?
all I
Okay.
can think of.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd be curious to see a list of who we haven't gotten.
Well, I'll go through them really
Come
quickly.
on, can I
this
get
to see how
I got
obscure
one
they get.
Ed,
more?
guess
I got
one
one
more.
more. Kumajiro.
Yes. Kamijiro.
Kamijiro, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
So the ones
He's
that
wrong.
haven't been
Swap
listed, the headliners, Sheep's Head and Jin Rami, the two guys who were on
Aren't
Got
they
it.
dead?
they're definitely dead. Hold'em, Debone,
Oh,
who
yeah.
was the hippo in the Chamber of Slaughter.
Oh, Dobon, yes.
That guy's the
Daifugo,
bomb.
Joey, is who you were thinking of.
Oh, okay.
Solitaire, she was the one who helped, what's her face? Otama. Scotch.
That was the one that I was thinking of, and I'm like, fuck, I ran out of card games in my head.
Scotch, and not the one from the Yeti Cool Brothers. The two.
How did I forget Alpaca Man?
Oh, I'm almost up to
Yeah.
Alpaca Man. Kamijiro and Hihimaru are the two animals. Mouse Man, Snake Man, Rabbit Man, Alpaca Man, Madillo Man, and Sarahebi, which is I don't know if that was the official translation or not. That's what One Piece Wiki had.
Okay.
And that's all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, so good job, everyone. Next week, I have no idea what we're doing, but we will have an episode of the podcast. I have some ideas, But I was hoping we would do the One Piece magazine, but I don't think we're gonna be able to. Steven
magazine.
literally took off, so I can't.
Could I do
confirm
a
that.
quick delay while we were talking about Animal Pirates on
Yes.
the wiki? They're talking about ships, and Scratchman Apu's ship is called the Stay Tune, and
Oh, boy.
Basil Hawkins' ship is called the Grudge Dolph, and Diaz Drake's ship is called the Liberal Hind.
Yes, we did a trivia on this a while ago, and they're
Oh,
all
sorry.
ridiculous
I'm going to get into
names.
this hind now.
His Royal
the
Highness.
Grudge Dolph. The Grudge Dolph was the plot of Creed 2.
That's
so
really good.
we'll be back next week. We'll also have a manga recap the following week, and we have some cool guests coming up in May, even though we have not announced those yet. So keep an eye on Patreon for that. And we'll see you Wednesday for some Jackbox games, and we'll see you Sunday for an all-new episode of the One Piece podcast. Until then, my name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
My name is Steve.
My name is Alex.
We'll see you next week, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.